Well, looky here. You are listening to someone who is bold, authentic, diverse, unpredictable. Baby, I am unapologetically Ramon, and you have entered my zone, the QB zone, baby. Hello, somebody. So I want to welcome you guys back down to the QB zone. I'm very excited for this episode. This is going to be a fun episode. I have three amazing ladies. We have Jokera McNeil is back down to the QB zone. We have Miss Lauren Gomes, and we have Jasmyn Elliott.
Hi.
So today, ladies, I want to talk about some hot topics. Some stuff I've seen in the news. It'll have to do with some of the celebrities. And then, sometimes I'm on the Shade Room or other media outlets, and I'll see some foolishness pop up on my news feed. And I just like, oh my God, I really want to have a conversation with somebody about this stuff, right? So the first topic, I'm going to go ahead and get it out the way. It's been talked about a lot lately. We ain't got to dwell too much on it, but I am curious. I know, Lauren, this is something you brought up to me a few weeks ago. Will Smith and Chris Rock. So raise your hand. Who saw the Oscars? First of all, I know Jasmyn, you didn't.
No, I was out and about that night, but I saw it after the fact.
Live.
I did not watch it live. I was actually watching TikTok, and the video came across my face, and I had to watch it a couple of times, but I have my own opinions on that.
How about you, Jokera? I know one of your fellow rattlers was producing it.
I wasn't watching live, but I saw the
right
replays.
So for me, I was watching it live, right? And he comes out, he does his, his little monologue where he's doing his jokes or whatever. It's Chris Rock, so you're laughing or whatever. He's good at what he does. And when he made the comment, at first I was like, oh, wait a minute, like she bald-headed, but I knew because I watch a lot of Red Table Talk, right?
Oh, yeah,
the first thing that came to my mind was the alopecia story. And she's actually shared her struggles with having to be bald-headed because, outside of the just set it off haircut, she's always typically had some kind of hairstyle or whatever, right? So then I was like, we all know that Will, and this might be a part of y'all opinion, we all saw Will laugh at first. Mm-hmm. And then it showed her face. I'm like, ooh, mama mad. And then we all know what happened from there. Mm-hmm. Initially, I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, this is part of some skit until they showed the camera in the audience and, keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. That's when I was like, But what I thought was funny was Lupita Nyong'o was sitting right behind him and she looked so nervous.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. She was like, so nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been a lot of opinions. You have people who feel like violence is never the answer. You have people that feel that, there's no way around it. Will was wrong or Will was right for sticking up for his wife. I saw my opinion changed a little bit after, I think a day or two later, they had Will Packer on, I think Good Morning America, don't quote me, but it was the Good Morning America Today Show. And he kind of shared a behind the scenes type thing. And so that changed my opinion a little bit. However, initially, I'll start with you since this is your fellow rattler. Jokera, what was your opinion of that situation?
So initially I immediately thought it was real until like other people started saying, well, maybe this was a skit. But I guess I'm of the opinion that I understand where Will may have been coming from, but I don't believe that was the time nor the place or the way to express himself in that manner. To be honest, I don't watch Red Table Talk like that. I had never heard the alopecia story. I didn't know that. So a lot of people came back and said it's public knowledge. She's talked about it. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a fan of her per se, and I don't follow her like that. Right. So I didn't know. So on the flip side, I was playing devil's advocate. Like, who's to say that Chris Rock knew of her struggles? And I mean, I wouldn't think that a person would on that public stage blatantly disrespect someone like that, knowing their struggles or knowing that they've expressed concerns with going through something like alopecia. So, but maybe there's some other history there that we also don't know about, because it just seemed very, very personal. But yeah, I was definitely on the team of like, Will, no, that wasn't the way.
How do you feel about the punishment he got, the 10 years?
Yeah, so I don't really know in terms of that. I mean, he can still make movies and be in movies, right? He just won't get an award.
He won't, right?
So he could still be nominated.
Right.
He could still be nominated, but he just can't actually physically go to the ceremonies for the next decade. Right.
So if he wins, somebody gotta either accept it for him or whatever. But and let's be clear, these are for, and hope I don't offend nobody, these are for the non-colored award shows. So like the Academy doesn't run the Image Awards.
Right.
So if he can go to the Image Awards and have a good time, he can go to the BET Awards. But if you're talking about like the Emmys, the Oscars, the SAG Awards, those types of award shows.
But he can still be in movies. He can still be nominated. He can still win.
Absolutely.
He just cannot personally attend to accept it.
Right. Now, my next question: if that was your man, how would you feel as a woman if your man did that, quote unquote, in your honor?
So while I understand the sentiment, I probably would have tried to calm him down.
Okay.
I would have tried to calm him down.
I always pose when it comes to situations like this is, what actions that you take now, how is that going to affect our future? Because now it's not just you, it's about the both of us. Mm-hmm. And the actions that he took that day was a reflection of possibly, of course, I don't know these people, possibly what's going on in their home. Maybe there's something that we don't know why she initially laughed. He was laughing at first, looked at her, and then his whole demeanor changed. And then from that, it's like, why I questioned it is, what is it in that look that caused him to react so extreme? And I've always wanted to know that, and I cannot get the answer. So it just really made me start thinking like, was it real? Was it fake? I still believe that whole situation, it to me at first, it seemed so fake, like it was pre-planned. And then it was just like, I'm always on TikTok and everybody has everything. So I've always questioned the motives behind that. And then she laughed after he sat back down. Like it didn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me.
That threw me as well, because this is could have been, ultimately ended up being the biggest night of his career. And in just that one split second, he threw that moment completely away. And I would hope that as a wife, I'd be, if I saw my husband getting rid of her, like, no, we'll sell this backstage. Not right now. Calm down. It's fine. Accept your award. We'll have the big moment. And then when we get backstage, you can cuss them out when the cameras are not rolling. At least that's what I think I would do as a wife. I would hope so. Have enough sense to do that. Because listen, no disrespect to Be More and Philly, both of my parents in Philly, but this isn't the projects. Time and place for everything. This is the Oscars. You're in a freaking multi-$1,000 suit. You're in a designer gown. This is not the time nor the place nor the audience for this. And I hate to talk about respectability politics, and you can say that I'm Uncle Tom all you want, but there's a time and a place for everything. And that particular environment is not the time to go to fisticuffs with some. That's insane. So Do I think that the punishment fits the crime? Now, had he gotten the Oscar involved, I'd burn it all down, because Roman Polanski is somewhere in Eastern Europe hiding out after doing what he did, and he got to keep all of his statues. So, like, don't start with that.
Right.
Agreed.
So, okay. So let me say this. Initially, well, let me say this. I was definitely Team Will. I agreed that the Oscars was not the place. I would have waited till commercial break and got your ass backstage. That's just me. A few years ago, when they had the whole whitewash Oscar thing, Jada was one of the main people who talked about boycotting the Oscars, right? And so that year, Chris Rock was the host. Part of his monologue, Will and Jada were not there, by the way. Most Black people weren't. Part of his monologue, he went on this rant about Jada. And he just went in on her and how basically she was jealous because her man wasn't nominated. That year, Will had did that movie 7 Pounds. So he went on this whole big tangent about her and how she's jealous and she just mad her man ain't nominated. And if he was nominated, would she be leading this whole whitewash thing, right? So I'm thinking, and once again, I'm assuming, there had to have been some kind of conversation behind scenes between Will and him, or Chris and Jada, because I'm sure they didn't appreciate that. You fast forward to now. Will and Jada has been together. I'm just coming like from a man's perspective. Will and Jada have been together for whatever 20 plus years. The media has ripped them apart their entire relationship. They have dealt with rumors their entire relationship. I remember when she was on Hawthorne, she was accused of having an affair with what's J-Lo man? Mark Anthony. And then you had different rumors when he did the movie with Gabrielle Union or with this person. They've dealt with rumors their entire marriage. Is it an open marriage? Is they cheating? Is this and the third? And let me bring Jasmyn back in. Yeah. And so I was telling them about how the entire marriage of Will and Jada, how the media and people have ripped them apart. They had to deal with a lot of rumors and they've never spoken on it. Then she gets Red Table Talk. And from the first episode, when she was with his ex-wife, they started sharing
out there all their dirty laundry.
A lot of the things they went through, right? I get it from let my test be your testimony. I get it from that perspective. But with y'all having the life that y'all have, you're making yourself more vulnerable for people to talk about you. I can only imagine as a man having to deal with rumors incessantly for 20 plus years. Then, God forbid, August Alsina decides to open his mouth. And
that was another one.
That opened the floodgates for these rumors and stuff to be increased. And we went in, y'all, well, not me, but people went in on them. The memes, the talk shows, the blogs. And it was mostly about her disrespecting him. A lot of people taking his side. She disrespected him. She did this to him. And so I felt like Chris got, the joke was not that bad. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I watched Red Table Talk. I know her story with alopecia. I felt a little, oh, dang, wait a minute, that's a little too iffy or whatever. But I feel like it was a straw that broke the camel's back. I feel like it was really Chris, and anybody who could have made a joke about her could have got the blunt of what we've all done to these people for years or whatever, right? What I thought was interesting was, so I read his biography, and it was interesting because I was reading it during the time of the Oscars.
Chris Rock or Will?
Will's biography.
Okay.
So I read it. And been a fan since before Fresh Prince. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot about his marriage with Jada and some of the struggles he feel like as a man he has had to be good enough for her, right? So there was this weekend prior to them separating, which they shared on, with the whole August Alsina episode. There was a weekend where he wanted to go all out for her birthday. It was a whole weekend of activities. Friday, he did some stuff. Saturday, he did some stuff. Sunday, he did some stuff. And it was like extravagant. All her friends in the industry, her family. I want to say at that time she had just lost her grandmother. And so the last night he did this whole beautiful tribute to her grandmother and had testimonies from other relatives. And everybody was enjoying it. Then Mary J. Blige, who's a good friend of theirs, comes out and does this private show. Get back to the hotel room, she completely goes off. She literally says, this was the most narcissistic example I have ever seen in my life. And as a man, I felt hurt for him reading it. Because
I didn't understand that
he
at all.
was going over and beyond to show how much he loved and appreciate her. And this is how she received it. That's when they decided, listen, you got to go do what you got to do to make yourself happy. I got to go do what I got to do to make myself happy. And that's when she ended up dealing with August Alsina, right? He states in the book that he feels like he has failed every woman in his life. From his mama to his grandma to Willow and Jada. He feel like he has failed every woman in his life. So I feel like he personally had a lot of pressure on him. And then this bull crap just tipped him over, I agree with the punishment. It's so funny because I said to myself, when they was like deliberating, I think like a week later before it came out, I said to myself, oh, just suspend the bastard for 10 years. Not knowing that was kind of
wow.
That's actually what they did, right?
That's what they did.
What I thought was interesting was when Will Packer did his interview on Good Morning America, he said that initially, what's his name? Chris was given the script of what he was going to say on a teleprompter. He chose to not say what they had created for him.
Oh, I didn't know
that joke was never supposed to be said. He chose to freestyle it. If you watch it, because I know you guys didn't watch it live, if you watch it, you could tell by his transition into the joke, he knew he was about to step on some toes. So that makes me wonder, did you know about the alopecia? Because you could tell like he was like, and then when he finished the joke, in so many words, he was like, oh, it could have been worse. Like you knew you was ruffling some feathers, in my opinion. So that's why I feel like both have a part to play. But yeah, I'd have got his ass behind stage somewhere, not no goddamn Oscars or whatever. And it feel bad because right after it, Questlove won his Oscar. Nobody talks about it.
I know.
Nobody talks about it. The very next segment after commercial break, he won his Oscar. So yeah. Y'all women, I'm sure, have been in relationships that have failed, that have taught y'all a lot. Probably saw some things that, oh, I would never do, or why did I do this? There's one particular woman, I don't know why I feel like she just stuck on stupid. And I remember reading something the other day. They said women can and should be whatever they want to be, but don't be Khloe Kardashian.
Oh, we're gonna go there. Okay, all right.
The man cheated on her when she was pregnant.
That week.
Like I don't like how he is telling her in multiple languages that he does not love her. I'm sorry.
Correct.
I'm like, oh God, that poor. It's like on the one hand, I'm like, I feel bad for her because there's clearly something going on inside of her that has her self-esteem so rock bottom that she accepts this. Yeah. But on the other hand, like, girl, it doesn't take a whole day to recognize sunshine. Like, can we get it to get? Like, can we connect the dots, please? Because you're wearing all of us out, sis. Yeah.
Like how and what gets me is
issues. Just something is going on.
Doing it discreetly.
At all.
Like it's not like you going through his phone or going through his DMs. He's not doing it discreetly. Whether it was Jordan, whether it was when you was pregnant, whether it was the crap he's done these past few years. Now recently, y'all supposed to be having a baby together with a surrogate, but he's in some other country. I think it was Greece or wherever he was with another chick. Like whether it's surgically assisted, you're not an ugly woman. So why? I don't understand. I feel so bad for her.
My question is that when I try to put myself in other people's shoes, to want to feel wanted so bad by a man that you truly love that doesn't want you back, I think that might be her issue, her current issue, where she's really like honestly trying to get this man to love her and see her for who she is. But, you know, unfortunately, her self-esteem might be so low that she can't honestly see there's anyone else out there better for her that will treat her the way she's supposed to be treated. So I think honestly, she has so much potential of being happy. She doesn't know what it's like to be happy. And she feels like this is just all that she's worth compared to her sisters, because of course, that's the big thing. Everyone compares her to her sisters, which I think is wrong. She's beautiful. She lost weight. You know, she motivated a lot of people to do that. Like, I just don't understand what would possess her to continue putting up with heartbreak after heartbreak and just consistently dealing with that type of trauma. Why would you want to subject yourself to that?
And also, let's keep it $150. He's not even that cute.
No,
he's not even that cute. He's not even that freaking cute. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, him? Really?
He ain't that cute, and it ain't about him having money, because she got her own money.
She has her own. So I'm like, what? And I'm sorry, nobody's that spectacular in bed. I don't care. So like, what is it?
Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever get those answers. Of course, you know, it's their private lives, and I feel like, you know, with everything that she has going on with herself mentally, maybe she just doesn't know how to let go. And that's one of the things that, you know, me included, it took me a long time to let go of a situation that was very toxic. And maybe that's something that, you know, excites her in a bit, you know, to the whole crying and wanting to feel wanted and feeling sorry. Maybe, you know, it's so many different angles that this can go, or different roads it can go down, but I just don't know why she puts up with it. I really don't.
I mean, as somebody who's also been in like a crappy situation too, but at the end of the day, she just doesn't love herself. That's what it's just what it boils down to. When you love yourself and when you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll change. It just hasn't hurt her badly enough. She will get there. It might take, hopefully it doesn't take her the rest of her young life to get there, but she will.
Hello. And you know, they always said how you get them is how you lose them.
Oh yeah, that's back
in the day when she got with Tristan, he was still with his baby mama. Because the baby was just born. The baby was still like, you know, so she was
like fresh out the womb.
Right. So it was always said that she took him from the baby mama, and then girl, look, everybody else done took him from you.
What did our great ancestor Maya Angelou say? Let's all say it together, everybody. When someone shows you who you are, believe them.
Absolutely.
The first time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you guys followed the situation with Brittney Griner?
God, which one? She's a lot going on.
I hear her name a lot, but I don't know.
So she goes to Russia. I don't know.
I
was thinking somebody else. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh,
yes, in Russia, yeah.
So she's had a lot going WNBA player.
I don't even know that whole situation. The WNBA player, right?
Okay, so yeah, she's in the WNBA. She's been in the WNBA for years. Got 2 gold medals. I'm not sure she got a championship. She might do, but she's like really, really good. She goes over to Russia, and in her bag they call it she had vape oils. You know, a little vape pen people smoke. Mm-hmm. She had the oil that goes in it or whatever. And so I guess when she was going through customs or whatever, they found it in her bag and they detained her. She's been there she's been locked up for 5-6 months now, first of all. And she's having her trial. The trial, I was seeing the update today, is expected to go on to next month. This is crazy. And what I found so interesting though is that today they were saying, or she testified, they never read her rights. And on Sports Center and so many other outlets, the WNBA, her WNBA coach, her college coach has stated, if she was Tom Brady or LeBron James, she'd have been back in America a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that statement at all.
They have to do,
I don't disagree.
She talked about, she's a Black woman, she's a lesbian woman, and it's just about that constant fight, that constant discrimination, that constant mistreatment of the LGBTQ, but also Black women. What is y'all opinion? Because I mean, when you think about it, first of all, with Tom Brady, they probably left him the hell alone. But Tom Brady, LeBron James, do you think he would have been back home? What do you think about the whole male-female thing?
I mean, there's so many layers going on in the situation. First of all, I'm not victim blaming at all, because what's happening to her is absolutely terrible. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. But also, this is Russia that we're talking about. Russia is not known for being the most cute, cuddly place on earth. So I would hope that if she didn't have the good sense, that some of the people around her would have maybe checked her bag, like, hey, might want to leave this at home for just these next couple of months that we're over here. We could pick it back up when you get to the States. So I'm kind of pissed off that nobody took a second look and say, maybe not the best idea. That's number one. But
right.
Number two, yeah, I don't think that either that if a Tom Brady or a LeBron James would have gone through that. I don't think, yeah, they'd probably be home by now, if bothered at all. I doubt they would have even went to jail.
What do you think?
I'm a little like, there's so many things that could have stopped it,
Right.
like from before she got on that plane and entered that country.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more pissed off that this was a completely preventable situation. And I feel terrible for her.
Right. How about you, Jokera?
So I guess because I have heard, the stories, just haven't necessarily kept up with it.
Right.
I would agree, Tom, with Tom Brady in terms of not serving any time. LeBron may be quicker, but I think it still would have been, of
some
issues
kind of time
trying to make an example of, or, because at the end of the day, like Chatty said, it don't matter. You still a nigga. So I don't.
Hello.
For LeBron case, I don't know how much difference it would have been. But yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. But yeah, and sad case that nobody in her camp, was able to save or prevent or move forward to because you got to know, you know what I'm saying? Like what is and what isn't allowed, or what they press, hard on. Yeah. So.
And also this, even like on a macro scale, the US is not in the best relationship with Russia right now. Not that our relations have ever been the greatest, but we're like really not in a good place with them right now. So it would make sense to be like, oh, there's an opportunity to fuck with the Americans. And now here we are.
Right.
And
really if found guilty, she can get up to 10 years if found guilty. And what I thought was so interesting was when I was reading a little more about the case, just for the purpose of this, they said that, and allegedly, that they're looking into a trade-off. Russia is really looking to a trade-off because there is, and I don't think I wrote his name, but there's somebody that is in prison here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a Russian, I think, espionage. Mm-hmm. So if we give him back, they'll give us This is a whole fucking spy. This girl was on back. This girl
exactly. It don't even match.
Right. She just wanted to go on a vacation. He's a fucking spy. How's that an easy trade-off? So allegedly that's been considered. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw something today, actually, that said that Biden administration, I think, offered. It was, I want to say it was 2 names, but I can't.
It was. I just remember the other one.
Yeah, it was 2 names that they were willing to offer to get her, in trade to get her back. I don't remember the names that they are, but yeah, it's just.
Nice. Give us our girl back, and y'all can have these fools.
Yeah.
What happened, Lauren?
No, I said, but I'm the conspiracy theorist. I've been saying that for a long time. Like, you know, there's always something in the background that we're not knowing.
Of course.
That, you know, as American people, we don't know. There's always something going on because, of course, you relay certain information to the public, it just goes haywire. So whatever they got going on, they know what they're doing. And I believe she's going to come back sooner than later. She may spend like a couple of years. You believe that, but trust me, they're going to have a trade-off that it's not going to be talked about, and they're going to make up this whole story. I feel it in the spirit.
The trade-off that actually they want to exchange the Russian arms trafficker, actually Victor Bout, for two Americans. So it's Brittney's over there, and it's another American that's over there, Paul Wellin or whatever. So I thought it was two Russians, but it's two Americans.
Okay. Listen, honey, I gave you got y'all little arms dealer, and we can prevent him from being able to come over here forever.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to prevent Brittney from going over there forever, I mean, I'm not sure who the fuck going to Russia for vacation anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's not like she was over there playing. She played here. She got a whole team and a wife waiting for her. So I was online, and I want to do the Target one first. I don't know if y'all heard this. So a Black woman goes viral on Twitter after she said she was rejected for a job. Let me elaborate a little bit. So she applied for a job, and her name is Notori. Didn't give her a second chance. She never heard back. Word on the street was, girl, tell them your name is something else. So she said, my name is Tori.
Mm-hmm.
Tori, instead of, the chick from Power, Naturi. And she got an interview that day. Wow. Now, it didn't go on to say if she got the job or not, but this reminds me of a situation where when we was in high school, a friend of mine called this job and was like, he felt like he was discriminated against because of his name. And because he sounds very urban. And I'm gonna just leave it there. He sounds very urban. And they didn't even give him the time of day. They said, we're not hiring. But he said, I know for a fact they were hiring because I know people who had just gotten hired there, right?
Right.
So I said, well, let's try something. I'm gonna use my vernacular, take my little countryness out of it. I was offered an interview on the phone. So what do y'all think about the workforce? And let me just say this before y'all give your answer. I do feel like sometimes we give our kids names that sets them up for failure. Now, however, what do y'all feel about this situation? Because when my name was Notori, y'all ain't got nothing to say to me. But when my name is Tori, Tori, giving me an interview the day of. How about you, Jokera?
I think it's ridiculous because you don't know anything about somebody, just making a final judgment off of one's name. Mm-hmm. I think it's BS. I can't say how many I honestly don't know, because how many times, if ever, may have been turned away because of my name. But it's definitely BS. Mm-hmm. It's definitely BS.
What about you, Lauren? What's your thoughts on that? Because your name is Lauren, Laureen, so you can go in.
It's very generic.
They could think you a valley girl or blonde, blue eyes, and you walk in with all this Caribbeanness going on. So what are your thoughts on that?
And especially because of my last name, they think I'm Hispanic, right, which I'm not. I don't even I understand certain words, but I'm not Hispanic at all. So let me just
Taco and Dorito do not count.
Don't touch me. But I know, just based on having my last name being a Hispanic last name, it's just for whatever reason they quickly assume that. So unfortunately, and I've seen this happen because looking at my sister Chanel versus my name Lauren, they would quickly go for Lauren because it's easier to pronounce, right? And they quickly assume. And then being in the business sector for 20 plus years, you see a lot of it. And most of the time, these recruiters, they spend all of 10 seconds looking at a resume or even looking to see what kind of qualifications that a person has. They don't take the time to look at what the individual does. And I think that's the whole issue with where we are, as unfortunately, the BIPOC community, we face that a lot. And it's discriminatory and it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I don't agree with that. They should have never did that.
How about you, Jasmine?
Also, my name is Jasmine, but it's also spelled weird, so it can go either way with me. But I probably discriminated against? Probably. But I wouldn't want to work for a company that's going to do that anyway. So you know what? Screw them. They can have it. You want to be racist? You go on right ahead. I'm not even going to put you on blast. That's who you are, and that's what it is.
Right.
Do I think this is a reflection of Target everywhere? No, because anybody who goes to Target knows that it's full of our people.
Full of
in there. Full of us. We're everywhere up in Target.
Absolutely.
But do I think that hiring manager should be held accountable? Whoever was in charge of that? Oh, absolutely. But of course it happens. And in fact, like I know people who have people who are Black and brown name their kids American names, still they give them a start ahead, and it's terrible that in 2022 we still have to deal with this nonsense.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I've worked with people that they've gone by their middle name or they've given themselves a nickname. And then after working with them for X amount of time and having conversation, I find their name is something totally different. Like, wait, what? Your name is, but they did it because let me appease the workforce. Let me, not shoot myself in the foot. I think it's crazy. And like Jokera said, you can't get the depth of a person based off of their damn name.
Period.
So I've always had an issue when it comes to feeling as if animals are of more value than humans. I'm gonna go back to Michael Vick. I never liked how that situation was handled. I feel like he was made an example of because he was this Black man that was highly successful, endorsement deals out the ass, and these white people probably got uncomfortable. Not to say that he should not have had some punishment, because whatever that is against the law, the dog fighting. I'm not disputing that. I think, however, it should be looked at probably on a case-by-case basis, because I mean, especially Jokera, there's some areas where that is an extracurricular activity, the dog fighting. It's like you sit on top of the car, you watch the niggas with their dogs fight. Like, it's just a thing. It's part of a culture in some areas. The reason why I brought that up is not to delve back into that story, but recently, I think I probably texted Jokera about it because she got me watching the show a few years ago, and then she stopped watching. But Black Ink Crew, H1, Caesar, who is a Black guy from New York, owns this brand called Black Ink Crew, right? It has now transitioned into a shop in Atlanta, a shop in Compton, and I feel like it's somewhere else. I can't remember right now, but it's multiple shops. Recently, there was a video that was released, don't know how, and apparently there was a dog, and he was hitting the dog with a chair. There's a difference of opinion as far as why he was doing it. I don't know if he has actually come out yet to state why it was going on, but, and I know she's finna Google it right now, but I did see the video. Right? But here's my problem with VH1. And VH1 has 3 of these shows because, I forgot Chicago. There's a branch of the show in Chicago. You have Compton, which is ran by Kyla Pratt, baby daddy, by the way. And then you have the multiple ones that are in New York. And last season, they opened one in Wisconsin, and they have one in Atlanta. But VH1 has removed him from the show, right? For years, Black Ink Crew, basketball-wise, Love and Hip Hop, have been successful with humans fighting each other. And we know there's been all kind of fights. I love these women on Basketball Wives, but we know Tammy and Evelyn done some shit to people on that show. We know all kind of bull crap with Jocelyn and whoever else on Love and Hip Hop have done some stuff. So we can support and got no problem. And we'll probably give you a bigger paycheck with you fighting each other. But why is it when some shit happened to a damn doll or a pet, oh no, we got to get you up. We got to kick you off the show. Why is it? And what is your thoughts on feeling as if people of color, but I'll go ahead and say people, are of lesser value than an animal? Because if Jokera go up to somebody and knock their teeth out their mouth versus she go hit a damn dog with a chair, her crime, her punishment is going to be more for hitting the damn dog. What is y'all thoughts on that?
This is a good one. I think that maybe part of it is that we assume that the dog is defenseless as opposed to a human. That might be a part of it, at least not to the defenses similar to a human. But besides the point, which that might be true as far as like animal ability, which I don't know about all that. I'm not a vet. However, you make a great point because it's ironic, like, you know, violence, especially the violence between our people, is considered entertainment. And it's sick. This is why I rarely, if ever, watch reality TV anymore, because I'm sick of seeing images of us fighting each other. And, you know, D. White man in the CEO's office is laughing all the way to the bank at our expense.
Yeah.
And Mona Scott Young too, which screw her. She's terrible. I can't stand her.
Yeah. What about you, Jokera?
She's if there's somebody that will call a sellout, she's a sellout.
Isn't that crazy though? And then you have these black shows, for example, Mona, where these black people get on here and act a
whole damn fool.
Act a complete ass. And let me just say, I am proud of Love and Hip Hop Miami, because the shits they do in Hollywood and Atlanta is not like that.
No, yeah.
Trina and Trick are from the hood, and we definitely have some characters on Love and Hip Hop Miami. When I tell you, I am so proud. Surprised, but I'm so proud of Love and Hip Hop Miami that there's never really been no shit like that. The only fight I remember when the nigga was cheating on his wife and she went after the nigga, not the girl. So, you know, I like some shit like that. Yeah.
I can't remember.
How about you, Jokera? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's definitely wild. And of course I think the first thing is, you know, they move so quick because they're thinking of their majority audience, which I'm assuming they're thinking of the majority audience. But like you said, a lot of those shows that are on VH1 have us in it, like running them up against each other. But you know, them people, they love their animals. Yeah. So if VH1 don't stand up or do something against it, then I imagine they feel that it's gonna be a stronger hit against them for not doing it. But yeah, I think it's wild. Granted, now I didn't see the video. I don't know the details behind what was going on, why he was hitting the dog. I don't know, the dog tried to turn on him, you know, like sometimes that happens. So I don't know what the details are, or if are they trying to talk with him, you know, to get details, like to really is there investigation? Like, is he put off momentarily as they investigate what is going on or what happened, or they just cut him off like cold turkey? Like I said, I'm not familiar with the story, but I definitely agree that, you know, animals seem to have more rights than people, right? And definitely if your skin got a little extra melanin in it.
And I also think, because I do watch a lot of reality shows, not all of them, but some of them I watch them as entertainment and to unwind. And I've noticed that it's not even just VH1, because even when I look at Bravo, for example, I watch most, not all, the housewife shows. And you know, when I think of, for example, New Jersey is one that I watch, and that's an all white cast. They always
wilding. Violin.
Very.
Italians are something different though.
So you got these Italian people, you know, whether it was Teresa, her brother, her ex-husband, her brother going at it physically. Teresa has gone at it with people. Like there's been altercations. No punishment.
Yeah.
On the show the next season, you probably got a pay increase, but you've kept your peach or whatever they hold in New Jersey, right? But then let's go to Atlanta. I feel like what Portia deservingly did to Kenya, you're downgraded or demoted the next season.
Mm-hmm.
But these other shows that the cast don't look like us, they do some bull crap and they're called iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that was crazy. No punishment. Let a black person come in here and show their ass. It's a problem. They kicked off. They got some kind of consequence. And it's like, you know, people can play the whole racism card.
Yeah, and people, you know, they quick to say, you know, oh, stop using the race card. But the thing is, like, they don't realize they being non-colored, non-black people, non-brown people, they're so used to moving in such a way, they don't sometimes realize that what they're doing is offensive or discriminatory. So it's like you have to like, but we get tired of having to explain it too. So yeah, I'm as far as reality shows, like I'm to my end. Like I think right now the only one I do still watch, I watch Married to Medicine, which even they do, like these are doctors, and even they on there like, what you want? Like y'all are like, you know, like y'all are making your way, and y'all got the most drama. But between Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Atlanta, those like the only two that I still watch, and I am on the verge of like kicking the can with those, just because the same thing. Like I'd rather see something that's more fun, like. Ain't no Cosby shows type, you know, and Grant, like, I don't know. I prefer that now. Like, it's ran its course. Mm-hmm. That whole reality fighting drama.
Like how are you somebody's PCP and throwing a glass? Like, girl.
Exactly. Like
your patients can see you.
It's wild. So I think it's definitely the type of stuff is ran its course, but they definitely, you know, made a killing off of it.
And it's so funny you say that, because when you think about Married to Medicine and all these doctors that have gone on there and showed their ass, whether it's been Simone, Contessa this season, although I think I do enjoy her, but I do think she batshit crazy, Dr. Heavily. I do. I have a special affection for her, but baby, that goddamn Dr. Jackie, you're not ruffling her feathers. You're not finna mess up her money. You're not finna mess up her business. When that one heifer Buffy tried to come for her the other season, Jackie ain't finna do this with you. And that's probably why she's by far the most successful on the damn show.
The thing that I feel like with all these reality shows when it comes to our community is that we've always been looked at as entertainment, regardless of whatever it is. We've always been the entertainment. And I think they take that to the extreme with the reality television, and that whole genre is just so entertaining for other people to see what the lives of Black people are like. And it's a false reality that is often portrayed when it comes to us. And I think it's horrible, but you know, you got to make money somehow. So why not fight about it? Yeah. I mean, hey.
But it's so funny because I'm going to have a conversation with a coworker. It's like Real Housewives of Atlanta. I watch it, but I haven't been as like into as I used to be back in the day. Mm-hmm. Potomac, because I wasn't a big Monique fan. Potomac, I watch or whatever, but it's crazy because, you know, I want the fun. I want to laugh. I don't want to see all the drama and carry on. I've been watching more of the colonizers. Like I like Beverly Hills, for example. I like Beverly Hills. I like their superficial arguments. They gonna have fun. They gonna have laughs. Nobody's like try to sleep with your man or break up your marriage or toss a table. I like these women because I can laugh and have fun.
Yeah, I did.
Now
like
the new trend with them is that you got to catch a charge between Erica Jane and Jen Shaw, who's that latter one's probably going to full jail. Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
Erica ain't do nothing. No, that's her husband.
But thing is, they're saying allegedly. Don't get sued up in here. Allegedly, it's sort of like, what did you actually know? That's the big question. Right. Did you know that? Like, did you not know that this man was swindling things? Because if not, then I'm so sorry.
So let me say
if you did know, then you could be held responsible. Like, even an accessory after the fact, allegedly.
Right, yeah. Because and you look at people like Teresa in Jersey, you know, as a wife, and once again, it's Italian, so, you know, it kind of similar to the Caribbean, men, you know, run the house and but they provide and all that kind of crap, right? And so he had her signing shit, and she not even knowing what she's signing, but it's your husband. You're not trusting he gonna have you in no foolishness. So she was signing stuff, and that's how she got caught up in his crap, right? I feel bad for Erica because, like you said, this man is accused of, you know, stealing money from the victims and and here you on this show with this lavish lifestyle. So I can understand, although I do believe that she didn't know, it looks crazy.
It looks bad.
This man took very bad. He took all this money from these people and you didn't know nothing about it. And we all know for who watched it, you had this lavish lifestyle. And I'm sorry, and I know you guys probably watch the show, but you know, they have this thing where now he has this health condition where he's senile and his memory not there. I'm sorry, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like
all of a sudden you in this legal trouble right and now you got health issues.
How convenient.
Very.
Timing is everything.
Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just trying, as a white man, trying to pull the, what they call it, the insanity plea. You trying to get an insanity plea. Ain't nothing wrong with you, because let his ass get found innocent. He's going to be off to the next broad.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get the minimum sentences anyway, so.
So, we all know Bishop TD Jakes. This is going to be the last one I mentioned. Have y'all heard how the bishop is in the media lately? Or y'all didn't know about it? Well, good.
What happened now? Oh, God.
So good, I brought receipts. Okay, so.
He got the papers.
And let me just say.
As a social worker, documentation is everything. So
hello, let them know, Jasmine. So, and hell, what y'all do too. So listen, I can say that I have benefited from his ministry and his daughter. I will say that I have truly benefited, right? I can understand where he was going and what he's mean. I guess because I was raised by old people, I get the old school mentality. But let me not taint y'all perspective. Let me just read what the hell he said. Okay.
What happened?
So this was Father's Day weekend at his church. And I'll just briefly go through it. It's actually really good.
So I can listen to everything.
So he suggested in a recent sermon that families are being lost because we are raising up women to be men while subverting their femininity. Let me go into some of the examples that he gave. Okay. Jakes explained that there is a divine order of creation when men are led by women. When men are led by women, it breaks the divine order. Real men pour in. If Adam had not allowed Eve to pour into him, sin would have never come into the world. Sin came into the world because Adam broke the order. We were not designed to receive from women. Your self-esteem is comprised when you have to ask your wife for lunch money. And Adam, all of a sudden, has allowed the curse to come because he stopped pouring. Because we are designed to pour into you, you are designed to take what we pour into you and increase it and make it better. You know how they say you give a woman a house, she make it a home? That's kind of what I thought he meant. Okay, so and I'll go into this part and get y'all perspective. This breaks all the sociological order of the culture we are living in now, because we are raising up women to be men, and you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you're climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I, as a man, have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. The conversation has become, let's prove to the men how dispensable they are, and it is born out of pain because we hurt you and betrayed you and lied to you and cheated to you, and you came like you became out of pain. But watch what is born out of pain. And this last one, pouring in is not just about money. You're not just a father just because you send a check. There's a difference between being a good husband and being a good father. It is possible to be better at one than you are the other. It is possible to be a better mother than you are a wife. Now, like I said, because I was raised by old people, I understand where he came from. I am curious, especially because this one up here with her Wakanda is she's a rebel. She don't listen to nobody. So I'm very curious to know, what is y'all women's perspective on this situation? I'm gonna start with you, Jokera.
I actually believe a lot of what you just read, like personally. I've been a part of a lot of the, because that is a very hot topic in a lot of relationship like groups and or whatnot, the topic of, you know, masculinity versus femininity. So I sat through many conversations of it, and I have taken time and like done self-reflection on the topic. And I can say, like, for myself, I know I've grown up being having a very hard exterior, and being proud of that. But as I've gotten older and I take time to listen to men in general that speak, my friends that speak, but it is a truth. I've heard from many men that it is true that they feel less than if they cannot give to a woman. I can't take, so this, and not that, and it's twofold, because I've been in situations where you might feel less than, but at the same time, what are you doing to meet me where I'm at, or, you know, provide? But in the terms of, I think there's a point to find like a balance. And as a man doesn't want to be with somebody who is fighting to be as strong as he is. There is the softness of a woman, the femininity of a woman, or, you know, that is what a man desires. And if you want to be with a man, then some of that you're going to have to exude or display some of that. And I believe that like I said, in my self-reflections, I know for a fact, like, I've gone through life being very hard, very guarded, you know, not expressive, maybe not the most, when you think of femininity, not being real soft. Like, I've been, you know, I've grow up, like, I've always been like the one female with a group of guys. Like,
that is true.
But
we all loved our Jokera.
And I, you know, but I've had to, you know, find a balance and using that to my benefit and listening to them and understanding, but at the same time understand, like, when I want to be with a man, like what it is that he wants. And I don't want to be with anybody that's necessarily trying to make me be less than them. But at the same time, I don't need to compete with him for a lead role in the relationship or in the household. So I consider myself, and the next time, like I consider myself to be a modern woman. You know, I'm working, I'm still going to go for what I want and my goals. But at the same time, I look for a man. I would want the man to have some type of direction that I'm willing to follow or contribute to as well. So I got lost a little bit in some of, like, when he started talking about like Adam and Eve and how sin started in the pouring in that area. You know, I got a little lost in that, but for the, like you said, for the gist of it overall, I don't really have a problem with it.
And I think for me, I don't have a problem either, because it's what I saw in my family, and not even just my household. But when I look at a lot of my uncles and aunts and my cousin and their relationship, that's what makes me agree. Not to say that women didn't have a voice, right? Very much have a voice in my family, but there is the pouring in aspect. I do understand and saw that. I do think though a lot of it comes from the fact that a lot of fucked up niggas have hurt y'all, and so hell, why sit around waiting for these fools when you can accomplish your own goals? You don't need a man to accomplish them. So I get the whole raising women to be men. Maybe the verbiage is what kind of rubs people the wrong way, but I do get the concept of what he means. But I feel like this new generation of men has given y'all minimum choices because you guys have probably been hurt, you know, so you want to protect your heart. How about you? I know you just itching to talk. I'm gonna say you for last. Go ahead, Jasmyn. You next. I can't wait to hear what she says.
I'm done. Are you sure she doesn't want to go next? Because I'm dying to hear what she has to say.
Go ahead, Lauren. We ready. Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh God. Okay. So let's just start at the top of what he said. Like, I am a Christian, and from a theological perspective, I can't believe I'm saying this, and this is going to be on tape, but I kind of disagree with him on a theological level, and here's why. Okay. There's this little thing called free will, and to paint Eve as this seductress, this temptress that made Adam do what he did. Like, I don't know if everybody's a Christian here, but
yeah, we all are. Yeah.
Okay, just from a Christian perspective, to say that Eve made Adam do what he did, ultimately take the fruit from the tree and eat it himself, implies that he has absolutely no control over his free will, which is a lie, according to just biblical principle, that there is a line between, like, you know, predestination or God's will and also free will. Where that line is, we won't know that until we get to the other side. We don't know. But there does come a sense of responsibility that came from that choice that a lot of times a lot of preachers don't take that into account. And so it seems to be always the woman's fault, when in fact, if Adam as a man was doing his job and being the leader, that would have been his time to let his free will kick in and say, hey, yeah, that's the tree that we're not supposed to be eating from. So you go ahead and do that. I'm not doing it. But he didn't. And now here we are. So that's what I have to say about that on a strictly theological perspective. Now, do I understand where Bishop T.D. Jakes was coming from? I get it to a degree, because I was raised pretty conservative Christian. I was raised Jehovah's Witness. We talked about that in the last episode I was on, and I'm a Christian, mainstream Christian now. And do I see like inklings of just kind of the gender roles being flipped on their head, and not necessarily in the best way? Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. Especially in our world, and especially in, like, you know, the modern world today, the good news is women have a lot more rights than we've had in a very long time. I don't have to ask my future husband for permission for a bank account. I don't have to ask my husband or my father permission to buy property. I get to do a lot of amazing things that I don't have to ask a man for. For that, I'm very grateful, because I have a mind, I'm able to work, and I have no problem doing that. But the rub is when we take those accomplishments and kind of then go a little extra mile, like, well, what do we actually need you for? Maybe instead of thinking of relationships as just strictly transactional, we think of them as connections. And I think that's what's missing in this conversation, especially with the whole femininity and masculinity communities, and, like, you know, the Kevin Samuels and the other YouTubers of the world with all these concepts and so on and so forth, relationships in general, in those, at least in that zeitgeist, have become so like seen from such a transactional perspective that we're missing the complete point as to why we want to be in relationships or should want to be in relationships in the first place. It's ultimately about forging a connection and also building a legacy through family. And we need to get back to that. And I would hate to ever be in a relationship where my husband feels threatened by me just by plain virtue of me having some sort of accomplishments under my belt. I would hope that as my husband, just as I would as his wife, because it's a 50-50 two-way street in that sense, that if I'm doing something great, he would cheer me on. But then also as his wife, if he's doing something great, I would do the same. Or both of us holding each other accountable when we're not doing so great. Because that would be, I would hope the point of a relationship is to make each other better. Right? And also too, on the same token though, I'm not necessarily going to follow a man on the virtue, sorry for being crass, and I just said I was Christian, so forgive me, but I'm not going to follow a man on the basis of him just having a penis. That's like the bare minimum requirement. What kind of man are you? Mm-hmm. Can I trust you to lead me?
Right.
Can I trust you with my safety?
Right.
Can I trust you to be that provider? Or am I going to be basically falling off the cliff with you, knowing that you have no business being anybody's husband, but I'm gonna follow him because, you know, he's a man. He may be a male, but he's not necessarily a man. There's a difference.
You better shut up. Amen.
Listen, that I completely agree.
I agree. I totally agree. Go ahead, Lauren, because we've been waiting for you. I think you even took notes. I've known you.
You have notes? Oh God, I love you.
I could tell. I have known her long to know with that body language, that heifer over there writing. Go ahead. What you got to say? Because you are a very vocal woman in your relationship. So go ahead.
I am a very vocal woman. Yes. First of all, the huge problem that I see today is that men in today's society are not allowing women. Okay, maybe I'm saying this wrong. The men are not giving the women the space to be a feminine woman. They're not giving them that opportunity to be able to rely on this man to take care of them in the home. It's not happening. And then when you spoke about, Jasmyn, we spoke about the whole Kevin Samuel situation. These Samuelites nowadays, they feel so empowered to be, they need to be, I don't even know the right word, but what's the word he was using?
Like alpha males?
Alpha males. They have to be these alpha males, but they're not taking an alpha male role. Being an alpha male, you are a provider, a protector, a financier, like you're doing everything for that woman so she's being able to rely on you. And being a feminine woman doesn't necessarily mean sitting there and just hounding on every word you say. It's being compatible with you as the man to say, hey, babe, this may not work this way. Can we look at it that way? It's a compatibility that is completely lacking. And what I feel like right now in today's society, oftentimes these men want these strong women financially, but then they want to criticize that woman for being financially stable. So you can't have it both ways. Like, come on now, get your life together. You can't have one without the other. And I feel like right now misogyny is so prevalent, especially in our community, and the crap that Kevin Samuels was spilling, and to see that the way that he unfortunately passed away.
How much have you watched Kevin Samuels? Look, how much of Kevin Samuels did you watch? How much Kevin Samuels?
I watched a fair amount. I have to admit, I watched a fair amount because I was just curious.
Lauren, how much of Kevin Samuels did you watch?
I think I watched one of his episodes on YouTube.
That's not enough. That's not enough to have an opinion of what. So I admit, I was a Kevin Samuels fan. I watched him on a regular basis. I watched multiple videos.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I always I always defend Kevin Samuels on any platform that I am in, because most of the time, the opinions that come from or against him have only watched one video of him, and it's probably the most one that's been the most viral, and it's been the most viral because of the interaction between him and whatever, and it's drama sells, like, and that brings on attention. But I've watched him on a regular basis, like he did podcasts daily, but I've watched on a regular basis, and I've watched him he's talked to women, and I've watched him talk to men as well. A lot of people don't even know or don't realize that he talked to men the same way. And he actually started his podcast talking to men and telling them to get their shit together. Like, how can they want and, say that they want these things from a woman and they ain't got pot to piss in or window.
I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yes. So
I ain't gonna lie, I watched a piece of one.
and don't get me wrong, he did have a very strong delivery. And a lot of people are just very sensitive into that and lead with that pain, and instead of hearing the message or understanding what he's saying, take it and run and become defensive. And when you speak from a place of defense, you can't hear what's going on.
But can you say that his delivery is what got in the way? Because I can say for me as a man, when I watched one video, I just didn't like his delivery and how he spoke to a woman. So I think
that's what most people have issue with. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what a lot of people had issue with. But I mean, me personally, how I became a fan is because I am able to separate. Like, I'm able to not become.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm able to not feel like it's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm actually listening to the message, like, and actually processing what is being said.
I think for me, why I have a huge issue with the way how he had his platform, how it was built. Unfortunately, the side of it that I saw, which is why, everyone was talking about who this person was, and I wanted to know, so I watched an episode. But then again, the delivery that he had, and unfortunately, it was the way that he was downgrading Black women. It just, for me being in that space, that moment, that episode, it was like, I can't feel that, because yes, there is a separation of the message versus that particular situation. There is a separation. I just feel like there was so much that he could have said in that particular episode to say, like, yeah, the way how you're doing stuff, you're wrong. You're right. You don't have a pot to piss in, but you want to have this $1 million man. It's not going to happen. You have to be a certain type of way. But the things that he kept doing over and over and over again was to say and compare, which I don't think is right. You got to know your own worth as a woman and what goals that you're wanting to do, and put yourself in that position to meet those goals. And oftentimes the women that he had on camera were not those type of women. They were these, for the lack of words, streetwalkers that wanted to get $1 million men.
A paycheck.
These are also the people who were calling in. So somebody who knows their worth and knows their value. I mean, those people who know their worth and know their value, like you said, you already know what time it is. So you're not calling looking for advice or looking for guidance to a man. So his platform was for those who wanted help. But I've also listened, like, I've watched, and I'm telling you, like, there were definitely women, and not even the ones who are the streetwalkers, as you say, like some real, like,
accomplished women.
Yeah, either accomplished or even just trying to get there, like young. Because a lot of the women who would call, they be young, like early 20s, you know. And so, but they're talking about they want to, you know, they think they're in a relationship that's going to be the end all be all. And simple questions like, oh, what does your boyfriend, what is his degree in? And you don't know that, and y'all been together for 2 years. Like,
you should know that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like kind of like I said, his delivery may have been strong, but there were also moments too where he actually never raised his voice in situations like that when they were calling because they were really looking for advice and really, really looking for help. But then there are also some who were in, you'll see that those that go viral because the women get defensive, and then now they are now arguing at each other. And those are the clips that get put on the Shade Room and Spiritual World and all of that. And then that's what people see and run with. So that's why I always will ask when somebody brings up Kevin Samuels, I had to ask, like, how much of him did you actually watch? And I have watched multiple, and when I say I you know, we work from home for a year, so I sit and have YouTube on, and I'm talking about he'd be on there for like an hour, 2 hours, and I would watch the whole, like, sit and watch the whole thing from beginning to end. So while it may seem like he was really downgrading and putting down women, these are like some of these women, I their expectations. Some women do have outrageous expectations.
Right.
I'm not mad at all. Not mad at all. But on the same token, especially with the kind of advice doling out, he lost me when he had this video. I think it was shortly before he passed away, where a woman was talking about, like, say that you have a child and your child claims that he's being abused by your man. Remember, children lie. As somebody who used to work in child welfare, that's where he lost me, because I'm like, that's just something that you just like don't mess with in my head. So I'm like, I really didn't like that. Really was like, that put me square in the camp of like, okay, I don't even like this guy, because even just going down that road mentally to me is dangerous. But also, if you're going to be giving marriage advice, can you have a successful marriage first, please?
That was my thing.
Because
that's what's weird to me too.
That would be like me trying to tell somebody how to lose weight. I am not the authority on that by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know. Clearly, I know nothing about this. I am not Miss Universe.
First of all, you're not fat, Jasmine. Stop it.
Oh, stop. You're sweet. I'm like, that's not my forte. Okay, let me not do that, because, you know, body shaming and all that. That would be like me trying to tell a rocket scientist how to do their job. I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't have that expertise. I have no experience in that field. Now, as far as him trying to tell people how to keep a good relationship going, did you know how to do that? Because checking the stats, and this is on record, he's twice divorced, and allegedly his daughter was estranged by him. So I'm not sure that I want to be taking relationship advice from somebody who clearly cannot, at least at this juncture, keep a relationship together. Maybe he can tell me what not to do. Maybe he could tell me how he effed up his relationship, or how his wife effed up his relationship, and then come from that perspective. But to say how to get and keep a man, I'm not sure that he's the person I want to listen to for that type of advice. I would rather listen to somebody who's been married for 25, 35 years and be like, listen, we've been through the trenches, we've been to hell and back, this is how we got through it. That is somebody that I would trust with that kind of advice. But somebody who's been twice, who's like, 0 for 2 in that arena, not sure he's the authority on the topic.
I put him and Derek Jackson in the same boat. I know they're.
I won't put them in the same boat. I won't do that.
But I mean, if they're at two extremes, but I kind of they rocking that cruise ship. I mean, like, come on.
He's a whole fraud.
Oh yeah, that was just a mess.
That was funny though.
But do you know, it's interesting though. What do you guys think about people who are relationship experts or life coaches, marriage counselors, but you are single? Do you think they have something to offer? Or even if I was divorced 2 or 3 times, do you think I have something to offer to help you have a successful relationship?
Only if you come from it just like, hey, don't F up the way that I did. Other than that, no, not really. Like, I don't see myself becoming a relationship expert anytime soon, because I don't have that kind of skin in the game. I don't have a ring on my finger. I don't even have a boyfriend at this point. I've had 2 long-term relationships that didn't pan out. So I can tell you what not to do, how not to screw up, but I can't exactly tell you what to do to make it work because I clearly couldn't do it myself.
You know,
evidently.
I have a different opinion in the sense that I don't necessarily believe you have to have had a complete success in order to give value opinion to a situation. I'm also single. And I've been through not a number, but maybe 3 serious relationships, a number of different situationships. But in each, I'm a person of self-reflection. So in each of, those relationships, I take time to just flesh out what worked, what didn't work, understand different things. But like every relationship is going to be different. But then, it's just a lot to take in and give into in terms of when we're talking about relationships. But I talk to and give advice, and my friends actually come to me for advice. I like all the time as a single person, but I'm also someone who relationship topics is something that I like actually enjoy discussing. So I talk to a number of, different men, like even my friends coming from different perspectives. Women my friends I've seen in different situations, and just like, and we don't always agree, but it's just a collective of different things I've seen, maybe not just different things I've seen in other relationships, different things I've experienced myself, conversations that I've had, like that all together, like, and of course, like from other people who consider themselves experts, you just take pieces, what makes sense, what might work for you, because like I said, there is no one size fits all.
Right. You take the meat, spit out the bones.
Exactly. But I'm a big proponent. Like people always ask me like, oh, you're not married, what are you waiting on? You're not sure what are you waiting on? Look, I got 4 friends who have been married, and 3 of them since divorce, and they all have children. If I'm not learning something from them and their situations, then what am I doing? What am I doing? So it's just so in the aspect of that, like that's how I feel like sometimes you can learn and add value to a situation, even though you may not have had the success. But I take those things in, and I have a desire to express that and give that to my next relationship, or try and see if somebody is willing to take it on. But
right.
Yeah.
How about you, Lauren?
For me, when it comes to relationships, like, one of my biggest things, because I'm not in a typical relationship, I'll just say that I'm not. I am boisterous. I tend to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But I do communicate. And oftentimes I see in relationships, there's not much communication. And I think with this relationship that I'm in now, this has honestly been the most successful, productive, and sensual relationship that I've ever had in my adulthood. So, dealing with my past issues, if y'all watch some other episodes, dealing with some past episodes, past relationships, they were just, to me, very superficial. So now that I've had this type of a relationship, it's making me question my own thought process. Like, what was I missing back then? I've been engaged twice. Both of those never went through to a full marriage. I walked away from both of them. One wasn't my fault, but that's a whole different story. you know, with this relationship now, it's like, dang, you're really a man. Like, I'm not used to someone communicating with me like on a daily basis. I am not used to that. I'm used to the, hey, what you doing? Or hi, beautiful. Or the late night text, like, what you doing, big head? Like, I'm so used to that. You're like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, okay, I can be on the phone with this man for hours and always have a different conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's always enlightening because it is not typical for a man to do that. So having that type of a relationship where the communication, whether I like it or not, because, you know, I got a big mouth, I actually can have that, and we can actually say, you know, hey, you're wrong in this situation, and I'm actually actively listening, and then going back to reflect. I would never tell him that he's right. But, you know, like, you know, every now and again, I'll throw a little pebble, like, you know, maybe, but, you know, this is a grown man, and I was never used to that. So having that type of a relationship to me, it's like reflecting on where I was before and now where I am is just a completely different person. And I can see where I was very immature back then, and to see where I am now, it's different. And I hope that women and men today can learn how to communicate and be honest with your communication. And that to me would make any relationship successful. Because if you have a problem, say you have a problem, don't just hold it in, and be respectful of how you communicate that information, because that's another thing too. Your delivery can honestly turn a person off. So it's things that I've learned about myself. And, you know, when I can be boisterous, when it's like, okay, you're having a bad day, but I'm gonna still tell you what's going on with me, like, you know, those kind of things. So it's a learning situation that I'm still learning now, but I'm grateful to see that I can be honest with where I am now. So I don't know.
Absolutely. Listen, I enjoyed y'all as usual. Jasmyn, Jokera, Lauren, thank you guys so much for doing this. Definitely enjoyed everybody's perspective and the insight. Listen, I had a good time. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Y'all queens, take care now. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for The Zone today. We are officially shutting it down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, remember this. Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities.